Rev up your engines!
Well, don't say I didn't warn them, but Ford has now pulled back until next decade, attempting to make electric Ford Mavericks and electric Ford Broncos. Remember how they said, we're going to be 50% electric by 2030 or whatever? Well, guess what? As part of Ford's planning on not spending $12 billion in EV investing, so well, we're not going to spend that $12 billion on electric vehicles. Amongst that unplanned expenditures is they're not going to make electric Mavericks or electric Broncos until they say maybe the early 2030s. Yeah, you know what that means? That means maybe never, right? If somebody gets a little pickup truck or a Bronco off-road to go off-road stuff, do you really think they want to get stuck in the middle of the desert, the middle of their land in the mud with no electricity? They don't, people. Now, hybrid, that's another story, you know? Even though the hybrid ones, of course, aren't any good for going through deeper water. You're not going to have a snorkel hybrid. It would short all the electricity out, right? But at least if you stay on the road and away from the water, they'll be able to run on gasoline, right? But an electric vehicle, that's a stupid idea to make them electric anyways. And now they're saying, well, we're going to do that maybe in the 2030s, something, I don't know, sometime in the future maybe. Ha ha, and all these people who think that the world was going to rush to their doorstep and buy these stupid electric vehicles that actually very few people want. John 2000 says, what are the requirements to become an automotive mechanic? I know you don't need ASE certification to be a mechanic in most places. I'm a DIY, I've been working on cars since 2019. How do you become a mechanic in terms of getting a degree? Getting a certificate or an associate degree? I'm thinking about getting a technician associate in applied science, an associate degree. It's a 2-year degree at a community college. I don't want to go to UTI because it costs $60 grand for the degree and it's for a year. All right, here's the thing. If you are mechanically inclined, I'd say go ahead and get yourself an associate degree, right? It's not going to cost much at community college. You'll have a degree. Realize these things like UTI, they're just money-making mills for people to make money. As per usual, if you really want to look at what's actually happened, you have to go to the base. And the base here, if you're going to be a mechanic, you got to be able to fix machines, right? You can take all the courses in the world, and if you're no good at fixing things with your hands, it's a waste of time. My father sent one of the guys that worked for him to one of these places. He came back, he was a lousy mechanic. You know, he took the course and he got A's in the course, but he was no good at fixing things with his hands. He didn't have it. He had no karma with machines, right? I'd say go ahead and get an associate's degree. Learn as much as you can on the internet. There's so much information on that. See if you can get any kind of an apprenticeship somewhere so you can be with some other mechanics that know what they're doing and learn faster that way. Because the only way you really learn how to fix cars is by actually fixing the things in the real world, not in a classroom where it's all theory. Because there's theory and then there's what actually happens in the real world, how they actually break. And if you get in with a bunch of good mechanics, they'll show you all the great websites that are out there. For example, Diagnostic Networks, which is diag.net. That's a great site where mechanics share all their information and talk to each other. The internet's great in a particular area where they share all the information and help each other out. I mean, hey, that's one of the best things about the internet. You can share good information amongst people that are doing the same thing. They're all fixing cars. And if one thing is a real stinker, you go there and you say, I got the stinker problem. And one guy will say, yeah, you know, I saw that. And all there was is a wire that's wrapped around the radiator and it wears on the radiator and then the wire shorts out and then you get these problems, right? That's what the internet's about. So that's what I'd do if I were you. I'd stay away from UTI. At $60,000, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much a waste of money. Bob the Hat King said, my oil pressure light came on briefly, but the car ran fine. I was driving my 2011 Honda CR-V. I went really fast, slammed on the brakes. The oil light came on. I stopped, started it, and the oil light didn't come on. Why did it come on? Now, if you did slam on the brake real hard, the oil could have sloshed too far, and the oil pickup sump in the engine might have sucked a little air. The oil pressure would go down, right? You could be low on oil. If you're low on oil, it'll do the same thing because when you stop fast, the little bit of oil will easily go to the front of the engine and then it'll suck air. Or you could have really dirty oil. That's going to do the same thing. Check your oil. If it's dirty, definitely change the oil and filter, right? One of those three things will generally do it. If you really have a problem in your engine, your oil pressure light will stay on. You'll hear a clacking noise. A lot of times oil lights just come on because the sensors are old. That's what. It's a 13-year-old car. If it ever happens again and you're full of oil, everything, change the oil pressure sensor. It just could be that the thing's old, it's not working right, and the connector for the electronics is weak. You slam on the brake, it got a little loose, and then made the light come on. So try all those. As long as this engine's running, especially at idle, and you don't hear a clacker, 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 then you have oil pressure. If you really don't have oil pressure, at idle, especially when it's idling, you'll hear clacker, 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 clacker. And if you rev it up and goes clacker, clacker, turn it off fast and find out what's wrong. But yours didn't do that. So, well, there's a new fuel theft method to using in Texas. The thing is, it's all done electronically. These thieves figure out a way to get into the system to bypass the security of the system so they can just turn the pump on and pump the gas and it just keeps pumping and away they go, right? This isn't going to affect you. They're not stealing it from you. They don't have one of those credit card scammers where they're stealing your credit card, they're taking the gas off of your credit card, or they're pumping from your car into their car. No, this is just, they're pumping the stuff out for free. It only affects the guys that run the gas stations. Texas Food and Fuel Association alerted all their members that, watch out, these guys are putting units into your pumps so they can steal your gas. The thieves get inside the cabinet when no one's looking. They break into the actual pump cabinet itself. And they manipulate the valve coil with taps that make it read the wrong thing and let it dispense fuel without anybody knowing. And they use a couple of 9-volt batteries to disrupt the voltage to the signal machine so that it lets you pump, but it doesn't run the meter, so nobody knows that you're stealing the gas. Now, according to this Texas Association, this type of theft is on the rise, but to me, it shows a couple of things. One, it shows that the people running the gas stations, everybody knows they don't pay the people that work at those convenience stations much, right? They're not watching the pumps, because you'd see somebody working on the pump, taking a cover off, putting stuff in it. They got to get inside to do this, right? Now, most of these places have cameras. It shows you how lazy the people working there. They're not watching the cameras. They're not watching the outside, and that's the problem. Most thefts are done because people aren't paying attention. That's one of the future problems if electric cars ever become de rigueur in the United States, is they got a whole bunch of charging stations that nobody mans. They're just there, right? You know, the thieves are going to have a field day then, because there's nobody watching it to keep them from manipulating the stuff, stealing the copper wires, figuring out how to get in there to steal the electricity to charge their own vehicles up, right? That would be an absolute catastrophe that none of these people are even talking about when they talk about electric cars. You cannot have unmanned dispensaries in this country, or guess what? People will find a way to steal the stuff. And in this case, it's not affecting us directly, because it's not taking our credit card money or the gasoline we're pumping in our cars. It's stealing directly from the gas station, who, of course, would have employees that they're not paying enough, or that they're just not paying any attention, the employees themselves, and these guys are getting into the machines to manipulate it, right? They got people, they pay them right, they're watching the security cameras, right? Looking at the pumps to see, what's that guy doing? He's taking something apart. They're obviously not paying any attention. That's the only way this system of theft would work. You got people watching, they wouldn't be able to do it, right? You could see, hey, that guy's pumping gas, but the machine's not reading, because inside the gas station, they got all the readouts, right? And if they see that guy's pumping gas, and they look at the readout for number 3 pump where they are, and there's nothing reading, they'll know something squirrely, right? Well, say it ain't so, Joe, but Wendy's is planning on starting Uber-like surge pricing in 2025. If a bunch of people come in and order hamburgers, they're going to raise the price of the hamburgers. They're setting up a digital system. Now, this is enough to make you throw up. I don't eat at Wendy's anyway, so I really don't care. But if you do, listen to this. Wendy's is investing $20 million to roll out digital menu boards in all U.S. companies by the end of 2025. So their menu boards will be digital. They can be set up with a computer that all of a sudden everybody's ordering double cheeseburgers. The price on the digital board can go up. Now, if that isn't one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard of, I hope Wendy's goes bankrupt. That, well, if more people want these hamburgers, we're going to raise the price. What is it? This is like the ultimate capitalist economy. More people want it, let's raise the price. And we're going to raise it instantly with our digital board. And then I guess if nobody's coming in and buying hamburgers, they'll have to lower the price. Just like the stock market. It'll be, you're gambling on a stock market charactered when you go to get a hamburger at Wendy's, according to their system. It's disgusting enough that they're going to spend $20 million to put these digital boards in. Guess who's going to pay the $20 million back? The people paying more money for their Frosties and hamburgers, because if everybody's ordering them, they can instantly raise the price on you. That's got to be one of the most disgusting things that I've read in ages. So Wendy's, that's all I got to say. I could imagine that Dave Thomas must be rolling in his grave. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.